I'd like to greet all human beings all around the world with the universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. It doesn't matter what your political, philosophical, personal, nor religious beliefs may be. It doesn't matter whether you proclaim to be the richest to the poorest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you proclaim to be the toughest to the weakest person on the face of this earth. It doesn't matter if you light-skinned or dark-skinned. It doesn't matter whether you my enemies, friends, nor family. It doesn't matter if you light-skinned or dark-skinned. I greet all you all with the same universal greetings of peace and the blessings of God be with you. Today happened to be Tuesday, September the 17th, 2019. The time being about 11:54 a.m. As you see, I'm in one of my favorite spots again over here where the geese to the left of me is lined up in a formation, seem to be protecting those that's right behind them. You notice they don't even attack the sparrows. The sparrows is doing their little thing. Here they is lined up in formation here in the middle. Then you can see them spread it there to the right. And also you can see them over here laying and resting. You can see the water doing as God said. The quiet waters be still. See that white truck is northbound on I-57. See that white one coming the other way. Here is southbound on I-57. Just take a look around. It's very peaceful here. Only noise you can hear, you can barely hear the crickets. You can hear the sound of the trucks and the cars as they pass by. You can't even hear the engine of my vehicle because I keep it updated and keep the maintenance excellent. In Spanish, they say excelente. Greet all of my Muslims and sisters and brothers all around the world with the universal greetings of Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Seek refuge with God from Satan's rejected enemy. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Let me get some shout outs to Sikeston, Missouri, to the Muslims in this area of the Boot Hill, Southeast Missouri and Sikeston. I give you 100% high honors in respect for standing on the police in Sikeston, Missouri that was a 20-year veteran that got on his Facebook page saying negative things and racially profiling Muslims. Y'all stood on it. It didn't take but 48 hours, 78 hours at the max, 3 days before he was relieved of his duties, put on administrative leave, and then the next day he resigned. They should have just fired him instead of letting him resign, but I give it to the Muslims over there for standing on it. Y'all stood on what was right, but yet they try to stereotype. When I say they, I'm not speaking of all white people, nor all black people, are not any particular race in particular, but a lot of times Muslims is stereotyped. They didn't go bombing nobody because of the fact of what this police officer did. They protested against it. They made a complaint against it. And they stood together. That's one thing that blacks in Southeast Missouri don't do. You see what I'm saying? That's one thing these churches in Southeast Missouri, they most so concerned about grant money, filling their pockets of their families and friends instead of standing on it. But see, another thing I give to Sikeston, Missouri, they looking for a change. They put another chief of police in. That's changed. Also, let me go to Washington, D.C. And even to, I think, is it Minnesota, where the Muslim sister, Omar, for standing her ground when she made a statement concerning 9/11 from 2001 when the World Trade Towers was bombed. People criticize her not because of her statement, because everybody has a statement about 9/11. You see what I'm saying? It's 2001. But her statement, she came and broke it down to the lowest term, like a fraction. She said when she spoke about 9/11, she said she being American, but her religion being Muslim, she was affected just like every other American was. But she said the next day, this is what some people don't like, but the very next day, she wasn't just affected from September the 11th, 2001, but September the 12th of 2001, being a Muslim, she was even racially profiled as if all Muslims was terrorists. All Muslim being blamed for what they say Al-Qaeda did. You see, but people don't understand that. They don't want to understand that. And they can't say she wasn't targeted, because she was. But I give it to her for standing up. You see what I'm saying? All these other congressmen and representatives and senators, you know, if y'all was for what's right, you would have stood right behind her, whether you black or white. But let's take it to Chicago, Illinois. Change. You see, the FBI is sending a black FBI boss to Chicago who's used to dealing with mobs, terrorist groups, and he happened to be one of the ones that responded in 2001, September the 11th, from his headquarters in Manhattan to the World Trade Center. You see, it's gonna take a change to correct all them killings of blacks in Chicago. You see what I'm saying? They already are dealing with these so-called preachers, of people backing this one particular preacher. I'm not gonna even mention his name. For 2 or 3 decades, he had a big church on the west side of the southeast side of Chicago. About 81 years old now. Black. And he was getting all this money. He was controlling, I think, about 1/3 or more of the Chicago housing authorities, housing projects. But look what happened. You see, he got caught up, just like some other blacks and whites get caught up stealing the money. You see what I'm saying? Stealing the money. This is an individual that all these people in Chicago look up to. They still looking up to him. Even though about shortly after, before they filed for bankruptcy, because the FBI had got into investigating them, then he resigned as CEO. He no longer wanted control of that. But now he's being up under investigation, and he should be indicted. You follow what I'm saying? And all them black people that's standing behind him. Now, when white folks do something, y'all got a problem with it. But it's okay for blacks to steal from blacks. That's what's wrong with Charleston, Missouri now. That's why it'll never progress as long as you have these same leaders. Go to the meeting on September, the first annual Freedom Fund that the NAACP in Charleston, Missouri is having at 700 Cy Williams Street in Charleston, Missouri. They having their first annual Freedom Fund. Go to that meeting on the September the 28th. I think it started about 7 o'clock p.m. And you look at all them people that be in that place. These are the same ones that been running this town, or supposed to be the head Negroes in this town. And you look around, you just see who they are, and then you look and see what they driving, how they living, how they churches are. And you'll have a few whites in there that's law enforcement officials that's backing them. You know why they backing them? Because they misusing the black communities. You take a good look at it. You take a good look at it because they don't want no change. You follow what I'm saying? They don't want no change. What they want it to be the same. They don't like voices like mine. They don't like voices like Malcolm X. They don't like voices like Martin Luther King. They don't like voices like Nelson Mandela. They don't like voices like Harriet Tubman. They don't like voices like Rosa Parks. They don't like no voices of anybody that's gonna talk about change for all human beings. You know, I notice every time I come, anywhere I come, I want y'all to take a look around. You see this white truck down there? Just pulled up not too long ago. People follow me. In Charleston, Missouri, a few young blacks follow me in this gray cottage. Got a little dent on the side. You see what I'm saying? Some people don't like living. I'm one person that don't like to take a life, but when I know a person that follow me and they holler out their windows, F you, Raymond, shut the F up, Raymond, and make little threats, they don't know when they stop. I ain't gonna even mention it. It'll be self-explanatory. But I'm gonna get back to change, y'all. This town don't want no change, Charleston, Missouri. If they did, they wouldn't have this same police chief all these years. The only one promoted is the chief of police, his captain, that's Robert Hearns, his captain, Anthony Mooney, and his sergeant, Percy Owens. You ain't gonna see nobody. You see a continuous change of police officers because they leave black and white, male and female. But change. But I'm gonna leave right now, y'all, as I came. And those of you all that don't want me to move, I appreciate the thought. But me and my daughters and them already have a nice place being prepared for us. And my daughter said they would like to come back down here to see had there been any change. Hopefully in their lifetime it will be. I leave you as I came with the universal greetings of peace, and the blessings of God be with you. On this particular day, in 1862, September the 17th, 1862, the Confederate Army was fighting against the Union, the so-called United States Army. You see, United States had already had some of them that was united already, but they was united even though they still had slaves. The United States United States colored troops, they wasn't allowed to get into the army, I think, until May of 1863. Think about it. Look up your history. Peace be still.